A timeless guide to inner peace. 10 Stoic lessons for modern life. Hey there, friend. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a moment? Maybe it X a screaming match with someone you care about, or you're staring at a work deadline that feels like a brick wall, or heck, maybe you're just sitting in traffic watching the minutes tick by, feeling your blood pressure climb. What if I told you there's a way to face those moments, not just with a shrug, but with a kind of calm that feels almost unshakable? A way to find peace, no matter what life throws at you. That's what we're diving into today. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that's been helping people navigate life's storms for centuries. Stick with me, because by the end of this you will have 10 practical lessons you can start using right now to build a life of clarity, resilience, and inner peace. Let's get started. What is Stoicism anyway? Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon in ancient Greece, and a guy named Zeno is pacing around a painted porch, chatting with his students about how to live a good life. That's where Stoicism was born, on that porch called the Stoa over 2,000 years ago. But don't let the togas and old-school vibes fool you. Stoicism is as relevant today as it was back then. At its core, it is about one thing: finding peace by focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Sounds simple, right? But it's not just a catchy phrase. It's a way of rewiring how you think, act, and feel. Stoicism says, life is messy. You can't control the weather, the economy, or what your annoying coworker says in a meeting, but you can control your thoughts, your choices, and how you respond. And that's where the magic happens. By mastering your inner world, you can face anything: traffic jams, tough conversations, even personal crises, with a kind of calm that makes people wonder, how do they do that? The Stoics, like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, weren't just philosophers spouting theories. They lived this stuff. Marcus was an emperor dealing with wars and betrayal. Epictetus was a former slave who found freedom in his mind. Seneca? A guy navigating the cutthroat politics of ancient Rome. Their lives weren't easy, but their wisdom can make ours a whole lot better. So what's the plan? We're going to walk through 10 Stoic lessons, each one like a tool you can tuck into your mental toolbox. These aren't fluffy ideas. They're practical, time-tested strategies you can use to stay grounded no matter what. Ready? Let's dive into the first one. Lesson 1, Master. What's in your control? Let's start with a story. Imagine you're an archer standing in a field, bow in hand. You line up your shot, steady your breath, and let the arrow fly. You've done everything right. Your aim was perfect, your form was solid. But then a gust of wind comes out of nowhere and the arrow veers off course. Are you going to beat yourself up over that wind? Of course not. You did your part. The wind? That's out of your hands. This is the heart of Stoicism's first lesson, straight from the mind of Epictetus. Focus on what you can control and let the rest go. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. It's a fancy term for a simple idea. Your life is split into 2 buckets. One holds the stuff you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your intentions. The other, everything else, the weather, other people's opinions, the outcome of your big presentation at work. The trick is to pour your energy into the first bucket and stop stressing about the second. Why? Because worrying about things you can control is like trying to herd cats. It is exhausting and gets you nowhere. Think about it. How often do you get worked up over something outside your power? Maybe your flight gets delayed, or someone cuts you off in traffic, or your boss gives you a vague "we'll see" about that raise. It's natural to feel frustrated, but Stoicism says, pause. Ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer's no, let it slide. If the answer's yes, then do something about it. For example, you can't control the flight delay, but you can control whether you spend that time fuming or reading a book. You can't control the jerk in traffic, but you can choose not to flip them off and ruin your morning. This lesson is like a mental filter. Practice it, and you'll start to notice how much energy you save by not chasing things beyond your reach. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and, here's the kicker, way more in charge of your life. So, next time you're stressing, try this. Take a deep breath, sort out what's in your control, and let the rest fade away. It's not easy at first, but it's a game changer. Lesson 2. Embrace life's ups and downs. Now let us shift gears and talk about a guy who had every reason to lose his cool. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. This dude was juggling wars, plagues, and a family that wasn't exactly the picture of harmony. Yet in his private journal, later called Meditations, he wrote about finding peace by accepting life's roller coaster. That's our second lesson. Embrace what you can't change. Life's like an ocean, always moving, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. Marcus taught that fighting the waves only wears you out. Instead, learn to swim with them. This doesn't mean you roll over and give up. It means you stop wrestling with things that are just life. People will let you down. Plans will fall apart. Bad stuff will happen. But here's the Stoic twist. Those things aren't the problem. It's your resistance to them that causes the pain. Imagine you're stuck in a rainstorm without an umbrella. You can curse the sky, stomp your feet, and get soaked in misery. Or you can accept that it's raining, find some cover, and keep moving. Marcus would say the rain isn't good or bad, it just is. Your job is to deal with it. This mindset, called acceptance, is like a shield against stress. When you stop demanding that life be different, you free up energy to handle what's actually in front of you. Here's a real-world example. Let's say you're prepping for a big event, and at the last minute something goes wrong. The caterer bails or the tech crashes. Your instinct might be to panic or rage, but a Stoic would pause and think, okay, this is happening. What can I do about it? Maybe you find a backup caterer or troubleshoot the tech, or maybe you just roll with it and make the best of what you've got. Either way, you're not wasting energy fighting reality. Acceptance isn't about being passive. It's about staying clear-headed so you can act wisely. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." So next time life throws you a curveball, try this. Instead of resisting, take a moment to say, "This is how it is right now." Then decide what's next. You'll be amazed at how much calmer you feel. Lesson 3. Live in the now. All right, let's talk about something we all struggle with, staying present. Ever catch yourself replaying an awkward conversation from last week, or worrying about a meeting that's days away? Yeah, me too. That's why our third lesson, from the Stoic philosopher Seneca, is all about mindfulness, living in the present moment. Seneca was a busy guy, advising emperors and writing essays that still resonate today. He knew how easy it is to get lost in the past or future, so he urged us to anchor ourselves in the now. Why? Because the past is gone, the future isn't here yet, and the present, that's the only thing you've got. When you dwell on what was or what might be, you're stealing peace from the only moment that actually exists. Mindfulness, in Stoic terms, isn't about sitting cross-legged and chanting. It's about paying attention to what's happening right here, right now. Eating lunch? Taste the food. Walking outside? Feel the breeze. Talking to a friend? Really listen. Seneca believed that by fully engaging with the present, you can quiet the noise of regret and worry. It's like hitting the mute button on your mental chatter. Here's a quick story. A few years ago, I was stressing about a big project at work. I'd lie awake at night replaying what I should have done differently or imagining worst-case scenarios. Then I stumbled across Seneca's advice. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That hit me hard. So, I started practicing mindfulness in small ways, like focusing on my coffee in the morning, noticing its warmth, its smell. Slowly, I realized I was spending less time in my head and more time in my life. You can try this too. Next time you're caught in a mental loop, pause. Take a deep breath and notice 5 things around you. Maybe the sound of birds, the feel of your chair, the color of the walls. It sounds simple, but it pulls you back to the present. Seneca would say, this is where peace lives. Not in the past, not in the future, but right now. So give it a shot. Start small and watch how it shifts your perspective. Lesson 4. Build your inner strength. Let's talk about toughness. Not the kind where you're flexing muscles, but the kind that keeps you steady when life tries to knock you down. That's our 4th lesson, courtesy of Epictetus again. Cultivate resilience by seeing challenges as opportunities. Epictetus had a rough start in life. Born a slave, he could have easily become bitter, but instead he used his hardships to sharpen his mind and spirit. He saw adversity not as a curse, but as a teacher. To him, life's challenges, big or small, are like a gym for your character. They test you, stretch you, and make you stronger if you let them. Think about it. When has something tough made you better? Maybe you bombed a presentation but learned how to prep better next time. Or maybe a breakup hurt like hell but taught you what you really want in a relationship. Stoicism says every setback is a chance to grow, but only if you choose to face it head on. Epictetus put it bluntly, you have to endure what you can't escape. But enduring doesn't mean just gritting your teeth. It means learning, adapting, and coming out stronger. Here's how this works in real life. Let's say you're dealing with a toxic co-worker who's always undermining you. It's tempting to stew in anger or avoid them altogether. But a Stoic would say, this is my chance to practice patience, to stay professional, to not let their behavior mess with my peace. By choosing to respond with resilience, you're not just surviving the situation, you're building a stronger version of yourself. Resilience isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about acknowledging the challenge and deciding, I'm going to handle this. Epictetus believed that how you react to adversity shapes who you are. So next time you hit a rough patch, ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this? It is not about ignoring the pain. It is about using it to build something unbreakable inside you. Lesson 5. Choose how you react. We're halfway through our Stoic journey, and this next lesson might be the most empowering yet. Epictetus drops this gem. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. This is Lesson 5. Choose your response. Life's full of curveballs. Someone snaps at you, your car breaks down, a project falls apart. Your knee-jerk reaction might be to get mad, stressed, or defeated. But Stoicism says there's a gap between what happens and how you react, and in that gap lies your power. You get to decide whether to lose your cool or stay steady. It's like being the captain of your own ship, steering through stormy seas with a calm hand. Epictetus loved to hammer this point home. He'd say it is not the event that bothers you, it is your judgment about it. For example, if someone insults you, the insult itself is just words. What stings is your belief that their words define you. Change that belief and the insult loses its power. You might think, their opinion is their problem, not mine, and move on. That's the Stoic choice in action. Let's try a scenario. Imagine you're in a meeting, and your boss shoots down your idea in front of everyone. Ouch, right? Your first impulse might be to feel embarrassed or defensive, but pause, take a breath. You can't control your boss's reaction, but you can control yours. Maybe you nod, thank them for the feedback, and later refine your idea. Or maybe you realize their tone says more about their stress than your work. Either way, you're choosing a response that keeps your peace intact. This lesson takes practice. Start small. Next time something annoys you, like a long line at the store, notice your reaction. Instead of huffing and puffing, try a Stoic move. Smile, strike up a chat with someone, or just enjoy the chance to people watch. Over time, you'll get better at choosing responses that align with who you want to be, calm, confident, and in control. Lesson 6. Simplify your wants. All right, let's talk about desire. Not the rom-com kind, but the kind that keeps you chasing stuff. Money, status, that shiny new gadget. Seneca, our Stoic guide for Lesson 6, had a lot to say about this. Limit excessive desires to find true contentment. Seneca wasn't some monk living in a cave. He was a wealthy guy in ancient Rome, surrounded by luxury. But he saw how chasing more wealth, more power, more stuff, left people restless and unhappy. Why? Because when your happiness depends on external things, you're at the mercy of a world you can't control. Stoicism flips the script. Real peace comes from wanting less, not having more. Think about the last time you really needed something. Maybe it was a new phone or a promotion. You told yourself, if I just get this, I'll be happy. But then you got it and, the thrill faded. Seneca would nod knowingly. He believed that chasing endless desires is like running on a treadmill. You're exhausted, but you're not going anywhere. The Stoic solution? Simplify, focus on what you truly need. A roof over your head, food on the table, good relationships, and let the rest go. This doesn't mean you can't have nice things or ambition. It means you don't let those things own you. Seneca's advice is practical. Take stock of what you're chasing. Ask, do I really need this to be happy? If the answer's no, consider dialing it back. For example, instead of stressing about a fancy vacation, Maybe you find joy in a weekend hike with friends. Instead of obsessing over a bigger house, you appreciate the cozy space you've got. Here's a challenge. For 1 week, try cutting out one thing you usually crave. Maybe it's scrolling social media or buying that daily latte. Notice how it feels. Chances are, you'll realize you don't miss it as much as you thought. Seneca would say that's the path to freedom. When you need less, you fear less, and you're free to enjoy what you have. That's where real contentment lives. Lesson 7. Live with virtue. Now we're getting to the heart of Stoicism, and it's a big one. Be virtuous. This is Lesson 7, and it's championed by all the Stoic heavyweights, Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius. They believed that a good life isn't about fame or fortune. It is about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are like the GPS for your soul, guiding you to peace no matter where life takes you. Let's break it down. Wisdom is about seeing the world clearly, knowing what matters and what doesn't. It's the voice that reminds you not to sweat the small stuff, like a rude comment or a spilled coffee. Courage is about facing challenges head-on, whether it's standing up for what's right or just getting through a tough day. Justice means treating others fairly, even when it's hard, like being kind to someone who doesn't deserve it. And temperance? That's self-control, the ability to say no to that extra drink or that impulsive online purchase. The Stoics saw these virtues as a package deal. You can't pick and choose. They work together to make you a better person. And here is the cool part. Living virtuously doesn't just make the world better. It makes you better. When you act with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, you feel grounded, like you're living in alignment with something bigger than yourself. Let's try a real-life example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague takes credit for your idea. Your instinct might be to call them out or stew in resentment, but a Stoic would pause and think, what's the virtuous move here? Wisdom might say, this isn't worth a fight, my work speaks for itself. Courage might push you to calmly address it with your boss. Justice reminds you to stay fair, not vengeful. Temperance keeps you from lashing out. Whatever you choose, you're acting from a place of principle, and that feels good. Living with virtue isn't about being perfect. It's about trying your best every day. The Stoics believed that even small acts of virtue, like listening to a friend or owning up to a mistake, build a life of meaning. So here's your homework. Pick one virtue, say courage, and look for a chance to practice it this week. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting or tackling a task you've been avoiding. Notice how it feels to act in line with your values. That's the Stoic way, and it's a straight path to inner peace. Lesson 8. Accept life's impermanence. Let's get a little deep for Lesson 8, brought to us by Marcus Aurelius. Understand that everything changes. Nothing lasts forever. Not your favorite pair of jeans, not the good times, not the bad ones. And that's okay. Accepting life's impermanence is a key to staying calm in a world that's always shifting. Marcus wrote meditations as a kind of personal pep talk, reminding himself to stay grounded amid the chaos of ruling an empire. One of his big insights? Everything, people, possessions, moments, is temporary. Your coffee mug will break someday. Your job will end. Even you won't be here forever. That might sound grim, but for Marcus it was liberating. Why? Because when you accept that nothing lasts, you stop clinging to things that can't be held. Think about how much stress comes from trying to freeze time. You want that vacation to last forever, or you're dreading the end of a relationship, or you're hung up on a mistake you made years ago. Marcus would say, let it go. Not in a cold, detached way, but in a way that lets you fully appreciate what's here now without fearing its loss. It's like savoring a sunset. You know it won't last, but that's what makes it beautiful. Here's a personal story. A while back, I lost someone close to me. It hit hard, and for a long time I kept wishing I could turn back the clock. Then I read Marcus's words. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. It didn't erase the pain, but it helped me see that their passing was part of life's flow, not something to fight. I started focusing on the memories we shared, and slowly the grief felt less like a weight and more like a gift. You can practice this too. Next time you're stressed about losing something, a job, a relationship, even just a good mood, remind yourself, this is temporary, like everything else. Then shift your focus to what you can do now. Enjoy the moment, learn from it, or let it pass gracefully. Accepting impermanence doesn't make you numb, it makes you free to live fully in each fleeting moment. Lesson 9. Find joy in gratitude. We're almost at the end, but this next lesson is a gem that can light up even the darkest days. Seneca brings us Lesson 9. Practice gratitude. It is not about forcing a fake smile, it is about training your mind to see the good in what you have right now. Seneca was no stranger to hardship. He faced exile, political intrigue, and eventually a death sentence. Yet he wrote about gratitude like it was a superpower. To him, being thankful wasn't just for the big wins like a promotion or a new car. It was about appreciating the small stuff, the air in your lungs, the friend who checks in, the meal on your table. Why? Because when you focus on what you have, you stop obsessing over what you don't. Gratitude flips your perspective. Instead of thinking, my life's a mess because I don't have X, you start noticing, wow, I've got Y and Z, and that's pretty great. Seneca believed this shift is the key to contentment, no matter what's going on. Even in tough times, there's something to be thankful for. A lesson, a kind word, or just the fact that you're still here, fighting. Let's try an example. Say you're having a rough day. Your car won't start and you're late for work. It's easy to spiral into, why does this always happen to me? But a Stoic would pause and think, okay, what can I be grateful for? Maybe it's the mechanic who helps you out, or the co-worker who covers for you, or even just the chance to take a deep breath and regroup. Gratitude doesn't fix the car, but it keeps the day from owning you. Here's a simple way to start. Every night, jot down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be huge. Maybe it's a good song on the radio, a laugh with a friend, or the fact that you made it through a tough moment. Over time, you'll train your brain to spot the good stuff, and that builds a kind of inner calm that's hard to shake. Seneca would say that's the secret to a rich life. Not more stuff, but more appreciation. Lesson 10. Never stop growing. We've made it to the final lesson, and it's a powerful one from Epictetus. Keep learning and growing. Stoicism isn't a T about reaching some perfect state and calling it a day. It's about seeing life as a journey of constant improvement. Every day's a chance to get a little wiser, a little stronger, a little better. Epictetus was all about action. He didn't care for empty talk. He wanted his students to live their philosophy. To him, growth was the point of being human. You're not a statue set in stone. You're a work in progress, always capable of evolving. Whether you're 20 or 80, there's something new to learn, a skill to sharpen, or a habit to tweak. This lesson ties everything together. All the Stoic tools, control, acceptance, mindfulness, resilience, virtue, they're not just for surviving life's challenges, they're for building a life you're proud of. Epictetus saw setbacks as teachers, not roadblocks. Lost your job? It's a chance to learn new skills. Had an argument? It's an opportunity to practice patience. Every moment, good or bad, is fuel for growth. Here's how this looks in practice. Let's say you're trying to get better at public speaking, but your first attempt flops. You're nervous, you stumble, and you feel like crawling under a rock. A Stoic wouldn't dwell on the embarrassment. They'd ask, what can I learn here? Maybe you need to practice more, or maybe you realize nerves are just part of the deal. Either way, you're not failing, you're growing. Growth isn't always glamorous. It's showing up, even when it's hard. It's reading a book instead of scrolling your phone. It's apologizing when you're wrong. It's trying again after you mess up. Epictetus would say that's the real victory, not perfection, but progress. So pick one area of your life to work on. Maybe it's your temper, your fitness, or your focus. Set a small goal, like meditating for 5 minutes a day or reading 1 page of a good book. Stick with it and watch how it snowballs. Bringing it all together. Here we are at the end of our Stoic journey, but honestly, it's just the starting line. These 10 lessons aren't just nice thoughts to ponder and forget. They were practical tools you can grab and use right now to craft a life that is calmer, clearer, and packed with meaning. Let us run through them one more time. Master what's in your control by focusing on your thoughts and actions, not the chaos you can't change. Embrace life's ups and downs by flowing with reality instead of fighting it. Live in the now to anchor your mind in the present and hush the noise. Build inner strength by seeing challenges as chances to grow tougher. Choose your reactions, owning how you respond no matter what hits you. Simplify your wants to find peace by needing less, not chasing more. Live with virtue, letting wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance steer your path. Accept life's impermanence to savor what's here, without clinging to what fades. Find joy and gratitude by appreciating the small stuff that keeps you grounded. And never stop growing, always learning and evolving to become your best self. Stoicism isn't about turning into an emotionless robot. It's about embracing your messy human self while striving to be better. The Stoics knew life can be brutal, but they also knew you've got everything you need to face it with grace, right there in your mind, your choices, your actions. So, here's my challenge to you. Pick one lesson, maybe gratitude, mindfulness, or resilience, and give it a go for a week. See what shifts. You might feel lighter, steadier, or handle a tough moment with a calm you didn't know you had. That is the Stoic promise. Peace isn't out there waiting for the perfect job or day. It is inside you, ready to be built, one choice at a time. Thanks for joining me on this ride. If something clicked for you, let me know what hit home. Or better yet, share this wisdom with someone who could use it. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and keep living the Stoic way.